Good Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Matt Jones. We're actually tracking some storms for a change this morning, especially across the northern portions of the Arklatex, right along that I-30 corridor. Pretty active start to our day. In fact, we actually do have a severe thunderstorm watch for the northern portions of the Arklatex until about 8 o'clock this morning. So storms are possible today, but again, the best chance will be this morning and mainly across the northern portions of our area. So if you're along and north of I-20, we have a chance of getting some storms out there this morning. If you're south of that Interstate 20 corridor, unfortunately, not going to see much, if any, rainfall for today. It's a brief break from the heat, at least for parts of the Arklatex today. Then it gets really ugly again. Unfortunately, that long-term outlook does not look very good. Here's a look at future track, though, starting you off at 7 o'clock this morning. And notice we will be tracking some strong storms there, especially in southwestern portions of Arkansas, near the Texarkana area. And some of these could pack a punch with even some hail and wind potential. There's the potential that some of these could be severe through the morning hours, but those will tend to kind of fizzle as we head towards about mid-morning. Still the potential for some storms up there around DeQueen and Texarkana by 10 a.m. As we get closer to the lunch hour, that starts to push off to the east, and then unfortunately we're back to mainly dry conditions as we head towards the afternoon. But with the clouds around and that higher rain chance, that is going to lead to some much cooler air, at least for parts of the area. Looking ahead, though, to our Wednesday, a warm front is going to develop and push north across the region, and that's going to lead to a return of the dangerous heat and humidity quickly returning to the area by the time we get into our Wednesday. And unfortunately, this is pretty much our only chance of decent rainfall today. Then it's back to that mainly dry and hot pattern all the way through the weekend. So keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll get something. Our rainfall potential for today looking pretty good, especially up there to the north across Arkansas and Oklahoma. Could see locally maybe 1 to 3 inches of rain with some of those very heavy storms. But look at that sharp cutoff, though. If you're from Shreveport and points south, unfortunately, not a drop of rain in sight. Now, again, the heat is going to ease a little bit today, so we have been downgraded to a heat advisory for much of northwest Louisiana and eastern Texas. You can see that heat advisory from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. today. Still an excessive heat warning down to the south around Nacogdoches, but notice our northern zones underneath no sort of advisory at all because they're going to actually see some much cooler air up in that region. Here's our planner for today. So we could see a few of these storms make their way as far south as Shreveport, but I think a majority of this, unfortunately, is going to stay north of the Shreveport area. But nonetheless, we'll leave in some scatter storms this morning, and then it's going to be a hot and muggy afternoon, but not quite as hot as it has been. Mid to upper 90s. Feels like temps, though, still above 100. There's that cooler air. Look at the northern areas. That is going to be fantastic. Hope 83, DeQueen 83, Idabel 84, Texarkana, you're only up to 88 degrees, Minden 91, but the heat is really from Shreveport south. 98 degrees in Shreveport, still looking at those triple digits, though, in our southern counties and southern parishes in Texas and Louisiana. And I mentioned the long-term forecast, not looking good here. It looks like a return of some very hot and dry conditions. That heat index getting back to dangerously hot levels here as we head towards the end of the week. So again, today is really our only hope for any sort of relief from this pattern. 98 for today with some scattered storms this morning, and then look at that extended forecast. Not very good here if you're not a fan of the heat. 102 for Wednesday, 104 for Thursday. We stay in the triple digits all the way through the weekend and all the way into next week.